Hello, and welcome to today's yoga session. My name is Cassandra Struble. For today's Power Flow Yoga with weights, we're going to need our mat, some yoga blocks, and some hand weights, maybe 3 to 8 pounds, whatever is comfortable, and we'll start out on our back. Let's go ahead and check in with that breathing. For this morning's class, since we are doing weights, we're gonna do a little bit of stretching. We're gonna move our bodies, and then we're gonna get the weights in, but we're gonna get some stretches in too. So let's start on our back. Let's take a nice big inhale, hands reaching up overhead. Let's stretch and reach with our toes. So nice big extended mountain. Let's try to get a yawn or two. It's getting more oxygen coming into our bodies. Wiggle our fingers. Wiggle our toes. Now, nice big inhale. Let's bring those knees into our chest here. And let's just take a little bit of time going side to side. Nice and slow. And let's take those knees in a circle here. The other direction. And then let's go ahead and exhale, bring our feet down to our mat. Let's take our feet to the edges, and we're gonna take a nice big inhale again with our hands reaching up. Now let's take a moment here and just climb the ladder a little bit. So reaching that one hand, now we're reaching from that chest. So you can almost feel as if that stretch is coming up from your middle of your torso, all the way up and stretching. Now let's take our hands really far up and let's kind of walk that back away from our bottom. So a little bit of space between our hips and our chest, creating a little bit of space in that vertebrae as much as we can. Now let's start to slowly rock those knees from side to side. Let's try to match them with our breath. Nice and slow. Now as we're moving here from side to side, let's think about this. Let's try to press that opposite shoulder down into the earth, nice and slow here. So each time we turn, we're pressing that opposite shoulder. Now each time we come to the middle, let's see if we can extend those hands a little bit further. And again, still doing that opposite shoulder so we can kind of press as if it's almost like Laffy Taffy across our body. Now let's take our feet out a little bit wider than our mat. Let's bring our hands down to our cactus arms, so bringing up the shoulder height, bending at our elbows for 90-degree angles. And now we're gonna go nice and slow through the middle with a wide leg, and let's pause before we shift our knee to the other side. So bringing that right knee to the center, pressing that left shoulder, left arm into the mat, switching sides, pressing our right knee in. Left shoulder is gonna press. So feeling that movement. So when we come into the middle, we're gonna pause and press before we move and stretch. And then releasing, let's come into our supine 4. So we're gonna bring that right heel onto our left knee. Toes are gonna point back towards that knee. Nice big hip opener here in our supine 4. Let's take a couple breaths before we decide whether or not we want to take this to our pigeon. Bringing that belly breath down to our bellies. Now if we'd like to take this into our pigeon, we can. Let's come and bring that left knee in. Right foot is still gonna stay bent, resting on that knee. Toes are pointing back towards our kneecap. And we can always choose to stay in our supine 4 too. Now let's take a nice big exhale, release us down to the mat. If you are in your pigeon, we're gonna bring those hands back behind our head. We're gonna get a little nice, slow crunch here. So inhaling up, twisting through the center. Slowly exhale, lowering down. Now we're taking this nice and slow here. We did a lot of abs on Wednesday. Exhale, coming back down towards the earth. Let's take that left hand. We're gonna reach for that right knee and we're gonna pull that right knee across our body into a twist. We're gonna take our right hand and extend it out, looking over that shoulder. So we're gonna twist from deep in that hip, through our back, all the way out with our fingertips here, reaching nice and big. Each time we exhale, let's feel our body just kind of release a little down towards the mat. Now nice big inhale, slowly coming back to center. Let's switch our feet. Right foot's gonna come down onto our mat. Left heel is gonna come onto our knee. Toes pointing back. Let's take a couple breaths here in that supine 4. We can usually also take our hand and press a little bit on that thigh if we want to take it a little bit deeper. Now we can choose to stay here in that supine 4 depending on how our hips feel, or we can choose to inhale, bringing that right knee in for our pigeon. So that is totally up to you. This is one posture I always like to say, it is going to feel different every day on either side, depending on our sitting activity. So if we're in our pigeon, let's go ahead and release it down towards the earth. Let's bring those hands back behind our head. Nice, slow inhale and twist. Bring that nice, slow crunch across. Exhale, lowering down. Let's take that right hand, reach for our knee, pulling it across our body, opening up into that twist. Now let's go ahead and slowly release back to center. We're gonna come over onto all fours, so we can grab behind our knees, or rolling over to the side. A nice big inhale, rounding that back up and allowing that spine to just move through the center. Now let's go ahead and take our blocks while we're doing this cat-cow. So we're gonna do it a little differently. We're gonna take our blocks and we're gonna turn them on our sides and we're just gonna rest our arms on our blocks, and we're going to continue that cat-cow. This time you're going to have to actively shift that spine, so as we inhale, we'll drop that belly down. As we exhale, we're going to bring that back towards the wall. Good one to close our eyes so that we can still feel as if it is a regular cat-cow. Now exhale, coming back to the center here. We're gonna get just a little bit of a spinal balance flow here. Nothing crazy, just moving your body. So inhaling, opposite hand, opposite foot, reaching and coming back down to the mat. Trying to build some heat here. Using that inhale and that exhale to move us in and out of our spinal balance. To flow. Now let's go ahead and exhale. We're going to come down into that dolphin. So we're going to come down to our forearms. We're going to interlace those fingers. We're going to bring our knees together, slowly turning our toes underneath us. Nice big inhale, pressing up on the balls of our feet, dropping our bottom back towards the wall behind us, pressing on those forearms, using those forearms to push us back. And then lengthening that butt up, dropping our heels to lengthen the back of our legs. Head is just gonna hang. Again, actively engaging our forearms here. And then exhale, lower down. All right, let's go ahead and grab our weights and our blocks real quick. So first things first, we're gonna do a little bit of threading the needle with our block. Or with our weights. So really quickly, you can use 1 or 2 here. Of your blocks, because that's going to bring you a little bit up off the mat to give you more room. You're going to take the block into your right hand. Left hand's going to stay on our block here. And we're going to inhale, lifting that arm up to shoulder height. And as we exhale, we're going to slide it through underneath. Again, nice and slow. If you're using heavier weights, let's not come up to shoulder height. Let's not try to crank that. If we're using heavier weights, let's just come up maybe like halfway and then bring it across. We don't want to overstretch that shoulder. It's more about getting that movement through the center. We really want to twist through our spine here. So that's the biggest thing as we are threading our needle. Now let's go ahead and switch arms. So right arm is going to come down onto our mat. Weight is going to come into that left hand. Again, threading the needle. Inhaling, bringing it up. Exhale, scooping underneath. Using it to twist here. Nice and slow. Again, if that weight is too much on our shoulder as we're rising up, let's not come up as high. Nice and slow. All right, let's come back to the center. We're going to switch back to the other arm. We're going to do something a little different. I'm going to stand the same arm so you can see though. So for the next exercise, keeping our hand on that right block, that way we have a little bit of more padding underneath that wrist. This time we're going to start that lawnmower. So we're going to bring our weight up to our hip. We can go a little closer to our block if we want to. And we're going to just bring that weight up like we're starting a lawnmower here. You can kind of lean back. You're going to pull that string. You want to keep that elbow nice and tight to your body. Again, if you have heavier weights, slow this down. We're just trying to get a little heat building here. Now let's go ahead and switch sides. So switching to the other side, planting that left hand down. We're going to take the weight into our right hand. We're going to pull it up towards our rib cage. Elbow's going to come back and be nice and tight. All right, coming back to center, let's come back to threading the needle here. So for threading the needle, again, we're bringing it up, sliding it underneath. If our weight starts to become too much, we can always drop the weight. So maybe we want to do a couple of these nice and slow. And then maybe we just want to flow with it so we can kind of get a stretch. Feel for what feels good for you this morning. Let's switch arms. Again, swinging it out and underneath. The biggest thing is bringing that underneath to get that little twist through our spine. And then coming back to the center, let's start our lawnmower. Switching arms again. Pull like we're starting string here. Now the only thing we want to think about is we want to be consistent at the speed we lift and lower. Let's go ahead and switch arms. So again, we're monitoring our speed, we're keeping it nice and even. If the weight starts to get heavy, we're just dropping that weight and keeping the move. We're still using that muscle, but we're saying, you know what, we don't need to keep carrying. A little bit more. All right, exhale, let's drop that weight down towards the earth. We're going to keep our blocks where they're at. We're going to do a couple little sun salutations here on our mat. So first things first, let's go ahead and rest our hands on those blocks. We're going to get a little puppy dog in here. So resting our hands on our blocks and erasing our fingers, let's press back with those forearms. So our forearms actively are engaging. They're pressing us back. Our bottom is coming back towards the wall. Nice little mini puppy dog here. Now let's come forward, slide those knees out. Let's get our child's pose here. Let's look at that child's pose. So as we come up into our child's pose, let's take our hands out nice and long. Let's see that length. We're going to keep these blocks here because we're going to do some crunches, or we're going to do some yoga push-ups. However, we want to adjust our blocks to the right height because this is the goal of where we're going to bring our belly down to. So you can have this is your height, this is your height, or this is your height. I'm going to start here. First things first, let's line ourselves up before we start flowing. So we're going to bring our knees together underneath us. Now let's come up and measure where our bellies hit on our block. They should hit right in the center. Our hands shouldn't have to adjust, so we can kind of do that a couple times to see where we come. All right, now as we inhale, let's go ahead, squeeze our thighs, squeeze our belly. Bring our belly down towards the blocks. Pause for a second, and then use that inhale to squeeze and press back. So nice big inhale, lowering down onto our blocks, pausing, squeezing our back, squeezing our belly. Our goal here is to not dig in our shoulders. So raise the height. It does not matter how high it is, it's about controlling on the way down. So squeezing that belly, squeezing the sides, drop down. Pause for a second. Then we push out successfully with our triceps. Might not be the morning to be so low. Nice and slow, using the back of those arms. Now, if we are starting to get tired, we can always come into a child's pose and pause. There is nothing wrong with that, getting that nice big breath and stretch. Now, inhale, coming back. Let's take our knees nice and wide. We're slowly gonna extend our hands out nice and long. And then we're gonna come up slowly into that down dog. So nice big inhale, feet come underneath, pressing our feet up. Weight is in that hand, is pressing us back. Now let's go ahead and slowly start to walk our hands and feet together here, coming into our forward fold. Now once we get to our forward fold, let's take a nice big inhale. Exhale, that belly down onto our thighs. Nice big inhale, hands coming up, reaching for the sky. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Let's go ahead and grab a sit. We're gonna do a couple body movement exercises today. So coming up to the top of our mat, let's get a little flow here. First things first, let's warm up. So we're gonna come to the top of our mat. We're gonna do a couple free birds to start. So free birds are inhaling, stepping back, opening up that back foot into our warrior one, stepping up, giving ourselves a hug, and then switching sides. So we're just gonna flow here with that free bird. Now remember, as we're stepping back, we are only stepping back as much as we are balanced. Now let's come up to the top of our mat and pause for a second. When we're done, even it out. Nice big inhale, hands coming overhead. Exhale, forward fold, hinging our hips. We're gonna walk our feet back into that down dog. We're gonna inhale, coming up onto our plank. We're gonna lower those knees down. We're gonna squeeze our thighs, squeeze our belly. Let's hold that kneeling plank. Squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Exhaling, dropping that bottom back into our child's pose. Inhaling into our down dog. Let's walk our hands and toes together, coming into our forward fold. Nice big inhale, belly falling onto our thighs. Let's do that again. Inhaling deeper into that forward fold. Nice big inhale, hands coming up, reaching for the sky. Nice big exhale, forward fold, hinging at our hips, back to our forward fold. Let's do that again. Nice big inhale, hands sweeping around our body. Nice big exhale, dropping down into that forward fold. Let's do that again. Nice big inhale up. Let's go ahead, exhale, hands to heart center. Let's step up to the top of our mat again. Top of our mat. Nice big inhale, hands coming up. Exhale, forward fold. Let's walk our feet slowly back into our down dog. That's comfortable. Inhaling, coming up into that plank. We can choose a full plank, or we can choose our kneeling plank. Either plank we choose, squeezing. Nice big inhale. Let's bring that bottom back towards our heels. Let's slowly start to walk our hands and feet together in that forward fold. Nice big inhale, hands coming around our body, reaching. Exhaling back into our forward fold. Let's do that again. Nice big inhale, hands reaching. Exhaling, hinging at our hips, forward fold. One last time. Inhale, reaching. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Let's go ahead and grab our weights here. We're gonna step up to the top of our mat. Now we're gonna do a free birds again, but we're gonna do them with weights. If we have heavier weights, start out, drop them whenever you need to. So we're coming back into our top of our mats. We're gonna step back, step out with our arms. Now as we open our arms, we wanna open it like we're opening barn doors. So palms are favorite fists are chasing each other as we're opening up, so it's a chest opener. Then we're gonna come back. When we come back, we're just gonna bring them together. So, if I can finish doing this with my mat like this. So just coming in and coming out. Don't sit on the edge of your mats. Nice and slow. If you have heavier weights and that's too much, you can come down and in too. So if that's easier to kind of, we are gonna do that one too. Just rounding out. Using our chest muscles as we open up. We wanna squeeze that booby muscle. So squeeze the nose. And then exhale, stepping to the top. Now let's go ahead and step back with that right foot into a little lunge here. Let's turn that back foot out for support. We're gonna bring our palms facing up. We're gonna get a little bit of a bicep curl here. So we're standing in our warrior one stance. Back foot is nice and secure here, right? Inhaling, bicep crunch. Exhaling, lowering. Those elbows are tight to our body. Nice and slow. If we're doing heavier weights, we don't want to come up as much. That's fine. Nice and slow though. And then exhale, release. Let's come up to the center. Now you guys can't see my head. We're gonna bring our weights here to our chest like we got a big bar across our chest. And now we're just gonna inhale, bring our weights up, touching at the top. Exhale, lowering down. So as we are doing this one, let's think about our body. Hips and shoulders are in line. If we have heavier weights, we can just press up and down. We don't have to bring it together because that might be the little extra that makes it a little difficult. Now coming back down, let's come into our other side, into our warrior one here. Now this time, let's do that chest opener again. Opening up our chest, squeezing it closed. Using those muscles. If our weights are heavy, let's do as many as we can. Drop them, keep going. Then we can still be tearing and burning. And moving. And then exhale, coming back to the center again. Let's go ahead and come back. This time we're gonna get that curl. Palms are gonna face forward. Let's look at our toes, make sure they're straight. Nice and slow, lift and lower. Keeping our elbows tight. Squeezing as we are moving. And then exhale, release. Let's go ahead and step into our side angle. So front foot is gonna be forward, back foot's gonna turn out. We're gonna bring a bend to that front knee. We're gonna rest our elbow on that front knee. And we can have our weight in that hand or we can choose to put it down, it does not matter. That other hand is gonna come up and reach up above here. So we're just holding. That's all we're doing. Holding that weight. We want our elbow to be soft. Now let's turn that body. We're gonna bring that weight down towards our mat. Now we're gonna do that lawnmower pull again. Pulling that lawnmower. That elbow is tight to our body. We're bringing it back and up. Now let's go ahead and drop our other hand or our other weight to the mat. And we're gonna inhale, opening up for that triangle. If we have heavy weight, we can leave that weight down on our mat. Front leg is gonna come straight. Top hand is going to reach up towards the sky. A nice big exhale. Let's come down with both hands to our mat. We're gonna walk nice and slowly into our forward straddle fold. So walking ourselves to the center here with our weights. Let's go ahead and drop that head down. Let's let go of our weights. We're just coming into that straddle forward fold. So both of our feet are wider than our hips. Head is just hanging. Let's shake our head yes and no. Now nice big inhale. Let's slowly hinge at our knees. We're gonna bring our elbows up onto our knees and for a deep squat here. We're just holding our weights, or we are not, that's up to us. We're in a deep squat. We wanna check our feet here. Now we're gonna slowly raise that bottom up and we're gonna squeeze our thighs coming back up to center. So making those thighs work. We're gonna switch to the other side, to that side angle. The back foot's gonna turn. Front foot knee is gonna be bent. We're gonna rest that front elbow onto that front leg. We're gonna inhale that back hand up. Now again, we can do this with or without a weight here. Nice and holding. Now exhale, we're gonna drop that that right hand down onto our foot in between the other side. We're gonna take that left hand and slowly start cranking that lawnmower. Nice big squeezes. Now let's go ahead and straighten out that front leg. Let's try to raise that hand up into our triangle with or without weight. This is a good stretch no matter what you're choosing here. I'm gonna set mine down so I can get a little more stretch in there. Now nice big inhale, let's release all of our weight down to our mat. Slowly bring ourselves back to center. Let's walk our hands and feet together. So coming up back to our center. Let's do another little free bird here without any weight. So just stepping back, opening up, squeezing as we flow. Nice and slow here. Now slowly coming back. Let's go ahead and grab a block. We're gonna do some chair. We're gonna start out, we're gonna do a chair with weights. However, your arms are getting tired, we can do them without weights. This isn't gonna matter, this is gonna be about kind of moving quickly, but if we have light weights, we can kind of add them. So for our chair, let's place that block in between our thighs to start here. So when we place that block in between our thighs, we wanna squeeze it a few times to make sure it's not poking anywhere weird or uncomfortable. Now with that block between our thighs here, we can grab our weights if we so choose, otherwise we don't have to. So we're gonna squeeze that block, both feet are gonna face forward. We're gonna come into that chair and sit, bringing our weight into our chest. Now we're gonna set that weight back. Now we can keep squeezing that block, we can stay here with or without weights, we're just gonna punch forward. So squeezing that block and punching. Again, with or without weights, depending on how heavy they are. This might not be possible to do with weights if we have heavy ones. That's fine, drop them. Punch. Now we're gonna turn and punch forward. Squeezing that thigh. Now bringing our hands back to center, let's punch out from our bellies. So straight out. Now turning our fist, punching out the other way. Squeezing that block. Now continuing to squeeze, let's drop our blocks here, or our blocks, let's drop our weights. Bring our hands into heart center here, let's twist through that center. Squeezing that block each time we come up, taking our time, twisting. Nice and slow. Now coming to the back, to the center, let's squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And we're gonna come up onto our toes for that balancing chair. Squeezing that block as we're on the balls of our feet. Weight is pulling us back with that bottom. Let's go ahead and exhale, slowly releasing our feet. Removing that block. Let's go ahead and come up to the top. Let's come to the center. Let's get a couple neck stretches in here. So let's come up to the center of our mat. First things first, let's just roll our shoulders, either direction. Don't even think about it. Close our eyes and just move around in our shoulders. How does it feel? Maybe we gotta shake them off a little bit. Let's switch directions. Our circles can be big, small, they can be whatever they wanna be right now. So if we're closing our eyes and they feel slow and little, they're slow and little. If we close our eyes and we wanna be big and round and crazy, that's what they are. So kind of just feeling around in our shoulders. Let's wiggle our shoulders here. Now nice big exhale, taking those shoulders away from our ears. Let's take that right ear towards our right shoulder. Nice and slow, let's slowly bring our head around, taking our ear to the other side. And let's do that again, rolling through the center to the other side. And let's just kind of roll with that neck in the little half circle here, whatever feels good. Whatever pace feels good. Each time we breathe, letting go of that week. Letting go of anything that no longer serves us, just being present in the moment and feeling. Now slowly coming back together, let's take that right arm across our body. Left arm is gonna come up underneath and hook it. And let's wiggle our fingers around. Let's stretch that shoulder out a little bit. And let's go ahead and switch arms here, hooking underneath, wiggling fingers. Now let's get those forearms. So let's take that left hand out as if we were trying to show somebody something. Those right fingers are going to reach for the palm of our hand and start to stretch and press. Switching sides. Opening up that forearm. Nice big breaths here. Exhale, release. Let's take our shoulders up, back, and down. And again, a good place to close our eyes so we can feel that up, back, and down. Shifting before we shift. So really coming into that up, back, or down, and feeling it before we shift to our next one. Nice and slow. Now let's go ahead and just rock around our bodies here. Move. Allow those hands to hit. Nice little rock here. Now let's get a good chest expansion here. So let's go ahead, interlace those fingers, place our hands on our back. We're grabbing our fists. We're gonna take those hands, we're gonna drop them down towards the earth or pressing into our back. We're gonna squeeze those shoulder blades together, opening up that chest. Nice big chest opener here. Now exhaling into our 5-pointed star. Let's get a couple little moonflowers in here. So nice and big with our hands, we're gonna squeeze those elbows into our side and exhale, expanding out. Nice and big here. So let's go ahead and switch into a sunflower here. So exhale, hinging at our hips. Nice big inhale, bringing us up. Nice and slow flow here. Now that next time we come down into that sunflower, let's stop there. Let's take our feet, just kind of open them up a little bit wider. Let's drop our head down towards our mat. And let's just shift that booty left to right here, a little bitty mini side runner's lunge. And let's go ahead and slowly lower ourselves down onto our knees. As we come into our knees, let's get another little cat-cow in here. Let's stretch all through that back. Inhaling, dropping our belly into our cow. Exhaling, rounding out into our cat. Nice little flow here. Then let's go ahead and lower down onto those forearms. We're gonna get another little dolphin in here. So lowering onto our forearms, toes are gonna come underneath us, pressing up into our dolphin. Head's gonna drop down. Weight is in those heels. Let's go ahead and lower our knees down. Let's take our knees as wide as our mat. Let's drop back into our child's pose. Let's grab a block here to rest our head on. So coming into our child's pose, finding the height that we enjoy for our block. Let's rest the center of our forehead onto our blocks here. Let's take a few big sighing breaths. Nice and slow. Now let's slowly start to roll our head from temple to temple down onto our blocks, really pressing all of that forehead down. Down onto our mats. Slowly moving side to side here. Listening to that breath as we press. Let's go ahead and exhale. Let's slowly remove that block. We're gonna walk down onto our bellies here. Coming onto our bellies, we're gonna get a little mini sea animal in here. So for our sea animal, it's a reverse crunch. We're only working that little diamond muscle right below our boobs here. That's what's gonna squeeze us up. So going onto our bellies, let's bring those hands behind our head. Nice big inhale, squeezing that muscle up. Lifting ourselves off the mat. Lowering slowly back down. Nice big sea animal here. Now exhaling, lowering down to our mat. So let's go ahead and just lift those hands up into our cobra, squeezing our shoulder blades. Now let's go ahead, exhale, reach back, coming into our locust position. So for our locust, let's go ahead and squeeze those thighs. Let's squeeze our belly. Let's engage and kind of tighten everything in here. Then we're gonna inhale with our hands, palms facing up, reaching back for our feet. Nice big chest opener here. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Exhaling, lowering down into our resting crocodile. So one forearm on top of the other. Let's rest one ear and look the other way. Now as we're resting our head, we can kind of stretch that neck by just pressing that temple onto our hand. Nice big inhale, switching sides with our head and then pressing our temple onto that forearm again in our resting crocodile. Nice big inhale, bringing our head back to center, resting it on our forearms. Let's take a couple big sighs here. Ooh. Each time we exhale, feeling our belly sink. Now let's slowly go ahead and inhale, coming onto our backs. Once we get onto our backs, let's bring those knees into our chest here. We're just gonna move a little bit from side to side, or maybe in a circle or a little combo of each. Now let's go ahead and get a little crunch in here. So bringing our knees back to center, our hands are gonna come back behind our head. Let's go ahead and inhale, crunching straight to the center. Now we can use those bottom abs by squeezing our root lock here. So trying to squeeze, bring our hips up to that belly button. Using those lower abs, we can get that little extra squeeze as we come up. There needs to be a little bit of space between our chin and our chest so we're not rounding the upper part of our back. Nice big squeezes here. Now let's switch those crunches from twist to side. So inhale, coming up, bringing one knee to opposite knee, and then lowering back down. Nice, slow rhythm that works for you. So let's go ahead and exhale, bringing those knees just back into our chest here. Shifting side, side. Let's go ahead and just slowly start to feel a little bit what feels good here in our knees to chest. Let's take our feet straight up in the air, hands overhead. Let's take some deep breaths here. Now let's wiggle our toes here. Let's take our ankles in some circles. Now let's go ahead and drop those feet down to the edges of our mat. Let's rock a little through our center here again, so we can use some big muscles. So let's go ahead and inhale, reaching from our belly button all the way up, making space in our spine. And we're just going to slowly start to rock those knees from side to side, ever so slowly. Nice and slow here. Taking our time as we rock, feeling that opposite shoulder kind of press, moving through that center. Now let's go ahead and slowly bring the bottoms of our feet together, opening up those thighs, just dropping our knees down. This is a good place that we can also place blocks underneath our knees to give our hips a little bit more time to relax here. Now let's just kind of inhale and slowly start to climb a ladder with those hands nice and slow here through that upper back, just feeling that shift. Nice and slow. Let's go ahead and bring our knees back together. Let's bring that right knee into our chest. Let's lengthen that left leg nice and long here. As we're bringing that knee into our chest, let's start to move around on our ankles and toes. Let's actively press our shoulders into the earth as we're doing this. Let's take that foot straight up to the sky. Let's point and flex through the back of that knee. Nice and slow. Heel, and then toe. Now let's take that ankle in a circle here. Let's slowly exhale, releasing that foot down to our mat. Bring your other knee in. Start to work around on our ankles and toes. Nice big inhale. Foot coming up, let's start to point and flex. Nice little point and flex here. Now let's take that foot in a circle here. And then let's go ahead and exhale, slowly bringing both knees into our chest. We're gonna get a little happy baby in here. So releasing from behind our knees, let's take a nice big inhale coming up in between our thighs. We're gonna reach for our heels, our toes, our ankles, or our pants. We're gonna allow those knees to fall open nice and wide. We're just gonna roll around here a little bit in our happy baby. Any way we would like. Just kind of feeling that spine pressing. Nice and slow. Now let's go ahead and exhale, release. We're going to slowly make our way up into an easy seated position. For today's meditation, we are going to be doing a silent 7-minute meditation. So after we've came to a nice, comfortable, relaxing spot in an easy seated pose, let's go ahead and bring our hands either resting on our knees or placing one hand on our heart and one hand on our belly, and just beginning to feel our flow of breath. As we feel our breath coming in through our nose, shifting through our heart, down towards our belly and back up, let's simply begin to hear the sound of our breath gently flowing in and out. And as we are sitting here hearing our breath, let's come up with a word, maybe even a phrase, to gently repeat to ourselves for our silent meditation today. Now that phrase or word, if we can't think of something, maybe like hope or peace, or happiness, or joy, we can always just have a simple breathing in and breathing out. Today's goal is maybe noticing that as our mind shifts, that we simply bring it back to this simple word or phrase that we have chosen for today's meditation. So our only goal really is just to acknowledge when our mind starts to drift, not judging that space. So let's begin just gently repeating that phrase or word gently to ourselves. Maybe reminding us to come back. That soft and gentle breath. Reminding ourselves if our mind begins to drift, simply coming back to that word or phrase. Maybe reminding us to come back. That soft and gentle breath. Reminding ourselves if our mind begins to drift, simply coming back to that word or phrase. now, as we slowly open our eyes, let's bring our hands together gently in our heart center. Bring our fingertips and palms gently together. Let's take 3 nice deep breaths together. And on that last exhale, reminding ourselves that our gentle word or phrase can be a mantra to help us balance out our day and to bring us some awareness as well as some joy. So as we move throughout our days, let's remember to let go and let's remember to be present. And as always, I thank you for coming. Peace.